We're catching up with Guillaume here at the Xbox Showcase, and this morning you took to the stage to show off something we have a few that we haven't seen before. I haven't seen it at least. What was that? What was it that you wanted to show at the Xbox conference this morning?
Well, we've been talking a lot about the lore and the history of the game, but we hadn't really revealed anything about the narrative arc of the game. So what we showed this morning was the first 5 minutes of the opening of the game. So really the setting, who you are as a character, why you're coming out to this place, and yeah, what you're trying to do in the world.
It was quite unsettling, a few of those scenes there, the pinata in particular. And it really goes to show that there is sort of a horror theme to the game. It's not just procedural. There's something awfully wrong there.
Absolutely. We went out on a Kickstarter a year ago, actually, during E3. And one of the big things that came out of the people who backed us and the community was that they wanted to know more about the world, and they wanted to really get a better sense for the story that surrounded it. So we spent the last year really helping and developing that component of the game. So what we're showcasing this morning is the main character, Arthur, that you play throughout the game, coming out of the drug called Joy for the first time, and then realizing that the world around him isn't quite the way that he sees it when he's on the drug. And that's one of the big overall themes that we're going to be playing with for the rest of the game's campaign.
Very interesting. But the structure, does it remain the same as well with the procedural generation of the city? Is it just there to support that, or how do you what's the overall structure of it?
How does it work, basically? Well, okay, so I'll make two disclaimers. So one is we are coming out on Games Preview. We will not be releasing the entire narrative arc on Games Preview. But the general way that the narrative structure is built into the game is that rather than following the linear way of like having a tug you from one place to another in a linear fashion, we let the player discover story throughout the environment. So there's really a start of the game that's solid to kind of ground you into what the world is, and then as you're trying to escape the city, because that's the goal of Arthur in the game, you'll encounter narrative moments that are actually sprinkled throughout the city that are either revealing things about the history and the lore of the city, or that are developing your personal character arc. So the first we're delivering on Games Preview, so you'll have over 75 different encounters that are depicting story of the inhabitants of the world, and they're helping develop what is this place and how it came to be the way that it is. And then on release for 1.0, we're going to be developing the additional character narratives that develop your own character arc. And then in the process of the journey of escaping, you meet other characters in the game that you can interact with that will reveal things about you, but on completing them will also unlock them to play their character and narrative arc. And your goal is to escape, but the meta goal for the other characters isn't just to escape. They'll have different meta goals that they're trying to accomplish within the city.
Anything you can talk about those?
Not at this stage. Again, like we wanted to really establish the world that we were trying to create, but we've got at least 6 months that we want to work with the community to help develop the game further and really make sure that it has the richness to it before we really start talking about exactly what happens in the different character arcs. That being said, the animators have been working for 9 months already, really hard on the story, and I'm very excited about what we're going to show the public when it comes out.
Is it just the objectives that are different, or will there be sort of gameplay differences in terms of the mechanics when playing different characters?
There are definitely some gameplay mechanics that are going to be different. Certain characters are better at doing certain things better than other characters. The way that you act and behave in different areas of the city is a big component that we've been developing with We Happy Few, and we're hoping to keep develop that with the community in early access and Games Preview. And that will also be different depending on which character that you play. Some characters might be more suspicious in certain areas of the city than other characters.
I thought it was interesting when you showed the beginning of the story arc there, that you're actually outed as a downer right away. So you don't really have that sort of hiding in plain sight kind of thing at the start there, but that is still part of that character arc, right? It's sort of that you get to choose between sort of being a little bit more aggressive and maybe not taking joy, and taking joy and kind of being able to fit in.
Yeah, absolutely. So the area, and I don't want to reveal too much, but the area that you are in at the beginning of the game is kind of the hub, the central government hub where the people are, and it'll be the area where people are most attentive to you following the rules. So that's a little bit an explanation for why you don't get that much of a chance to pick up and go about it. That being said, in the scene, you are offered joy and asked about whether you're on joy twice by Victoria, which is the other character that you're interacting with at that time, and it's the second time where she realizes by Arthur's reaction in the scene that he definitely isn't on joy. That's the first thing. From a background perspective, in terms of the way that we explain it narratively, the drug does affect the irises of the eyes of the people who are using them. So there is a visual cue for people who are close enough to you to know whether you're actually on the drug or not.
Very interesting. I'm looking forward to playing the full game at some point, but I think I'll play it first at Game Preview. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, Guillaume.
No problems. Thank you.